So today's session we have wrists and ankles. These are some of the foundational joints in the body. And what I mean by that is um, of course, your ankles support your stance and support how you move upstream of that. So a lot of times, like when knees are involved and hips are involved, actually ankles are involved as well. And then with wrists, this is a really cool thing. So about a decade ago or so, they did several studies in Asia, like Japan and China, that um, showed that like people with more hand and wrist strength dealt with stress better. And there's a direct correlation you see as as usually as people age and they start to forget things that their hand strength and their hand skill starts to diminish at the same time. So there's this correlation between that. So I always love to take some time for hands and wrists, and I'm glad that you have chosen to do that today as well. So with that, we're going to start with a little breath work to get the nervous system calm, and then we're going to dive right in. So let's have a seat on a block and start with a little breath. All right, and just take the head, back of the head, over the hips, and close your eyes for a moment and check in with your breath. And start to feel yourself breathing, allowing the breath into the belly and the side ribs and the back ribs, and breathing out slowly, gently, fully. Relaxing the pelvic floor, breathing in all the way up the spine, and breathing all the way down the spine. And again, breathing all the way up and down. And on this next inhale, take your first two fingers on your right hand, place them right between your eyebrows. Close off the right nostril and inhale through the left nostril. Close off the left nostril with the the ring finger on the right hand, and then exhale right. Inhaling through the right. Exhale left. Inhale left. And exhale right. Good. Keep going. Inhaling right. And exhale left. One more full round. Inhale left. Exhale right. And inhale right. And exhale left. Look down. Slowly take the hand away. And then breathe in and out of your nose. And we're going to start with a little, I like to start with a little hand exercise, a little hand-eye coordination exercise. So we're going to take, actually, I'm going to come closer. I'm going to click on this thing real quick. And then what we're going to do is we are going to, there we go. Okay, now I can see a little bit better. So we're going to take the thumbs and we're going to touch the thumbs to the first fingers. And then we'll take the thumbs to the middle finger, thumbs to ring finger, thumbs to pinkies, and then relax. And then take the first finger to the thumbs, first finger to the middle, first finger to the ring. That might be a little stretch, and this is a big stretch. First finger to the pinky. Now, however it'll get there, right? Let it go. Middle to thumb, middle to first, middle to ring, and middle to pinky. Good. And then ring to first. I'm sorry, ring to thumb. That would be the thumb. Ring to first. Ring to middle. Ring to pinky. And let it go. All right, last one. Pinky to thumb. Pinky to first. Pinky to middle. And then pinky to ring finger. Shake it out. Take a nice deep breath. And that'll just kind of like begin some of this finger coordination. Go ahead and make your way up to standing. And we're going to start with a foundation through the feet and then kind of move back up to those hands. So, like if you have your fascia balls, or if you don't have fascia balls with you, you have a tennis ball or something like that, that can totally work. We're going to roll the feet out. And one of the things that I kind of want to demonstrate is a little bit of balance. So if you're balancing, we're going to do some balance work today to help strengthen the ankles. But if you're balancing, I just want you to balance for a moment, and you can keep this in your hand or, whatever, however you kind of feel. So I want you to just balance on your left foot for a moment. And it's not super important like how you're balancing here, but just that you're getting up on that ankle. And if you're really good at balancing, you're like, okay, I'm seasoned. I want you to balance on a block. And just try this out for a moment. Nice. Good, good. So just kind of want you to feel what that feels like in your ankle. Same thing with the right. You can go to the floor. If you already know you're on a block, you can be on a block. Whatever suits your fancy today. Just kind of notice what's going on there in the ankle and the lower leg. And there's nothing that opens up the feet like the ball work. And so you guys have done this with me, some of you before, but we're going to go ahead and do this little foot rollout so that we have the best possible access to ankles, to the ankle mobility and strength. And so if you start, we're going to do this methodically today so that you get all areas of your foot. But I'm rolling from the big toe ball to the pinky toe ball, big to pinky, all through this ball panel of the foot is what I call this. Opening that up nicely. Don't forget to breathe. Now, most of us are probably looking at the floor at this point. So if you notice that you're looking at the floor, once you find your foot, just look straight ahead so that you can be in this nice, good standing posture while you're rolling. Now we're going to move to what I call the pocket in front of the heel. So if your heel bone, you don't want to be on the bone necessarily, but just in front of it a little bit, smash down and a little side to side action. Get really nicely in here. And then we're going to roll the whole sole of the foot from the heel to the kind of the ball again, balls of the foot all the way through. Don't forget to breathe and look straight ahead or whatever you're looking at, but not the floor. A couple more deep breaths. This is maybe one of my favorite pieces of this rolling of the ball, the plantar fascia stretch. If you have the sole of your foot, the balls of your foot and the heel on the floor, and the toes right up against a ball like that. And then with the free foot, we'll step forward and peel up from the heel all the way through the sole of the foot. And then I like to give this a good three kind of moves forward here. So three lifts of the heel and the back. All right, now what will your foot feel like when you stand on the floor? So you're going to have a little bit more traction and purchase on the floor with your foot. So let's go to that other side and get your feet evened out. And what would it feel like if you went on like a really long walk or a run, or maybe there's an activity that you participate in and you were to do this afterwards? Let's go to the little pocket in front of the heel. I'll apply a little downward pressure and squish, squish right and left. Rolling through the whole sole of the foot. Now, ankles are kind of interesting because we don't have a lot of muscle in our ankles, right? We don't have a lot of muscle in our feet either. So you might think, well, what actually controls your ankles then and your toes? And so the answer to that is the muscles, the tibials, and then the calf muscles. So today we're going to be working some of those. Let's do the plantar fascia stretch. So the toes are right up against the ball with the rest of the foot flat on the floor with a little walk forward, peel up through the heel. Nice stretch. And we're going to do three of these. Yes. Fantastic. And then just feel the foot against the floor here on this side. So this is going to give us a little bit um, better action in the ankle and the foot. And if you have anything going on with your knee, actually, this is really good to kind of practice all this stuff for your knees. So this could be essentially like a really good knee practice as well, and elbows. So we're going to grab this block. And one of the best ways I know to strengthen the ankle is just to give yourself a challenge. So I want for you to be challenged at whatever level you're challenged today. So we're going to start by standing on the left foot in a position I call kickstand. Kickstand, this just reminds me of the kickstand on a bike, one foot right on top of the other. And let your arms hang by your sides. Stand up nice and tall. And I want you to feel your ankle twitching. So you're going to be strengthening some of these lower leg muscles. Peroneus is this muscle that's kind of right along the outside of the ankle. And this muscle, when it's strong, can prevent, let's say you roll your ankle, and a lot of times that causes a sprain in the ankle, right? Or it can cause like an issue in the knee. And when you have a really strong kind of outside of the ankle strength, this will keep those tendons from overstretching and causing an actual strain or a sprain. Lift your knee, interlace your fingers. That's right. And balance and breathe. And we're just going to take the opportunity and roll the ankle really big. And I want you to kind of get to this place where you feel the pinky toe kind of reaching up like this toward the outside of the knee. And I want you to pause there in the rolling of this free ankle. So it's like a little roll in a roll in a, I call this the awkward ankle. It's the position that is most awkward because we don't normally practice this, but this is the anti-sprain position of the ankle. And another way to train this strength. I know you're getting a little tired in that standing leg probably. So we're just going to step down, shake it out, take a little walk around. But another way to strengthen that muscle, the peroneus and the tibials toward the outside of the leg, is to stand with your pinky toes up. And your big toes might stay on the floor. All the rest of your toes might pop up with those pinky toes. That's fine. But just really kind of articulate this awkward ankle. It becomes not awkward when you practice this really often. And let it go. All right, if you're on the block with me, flip your block. We've got an impression where your foot was. We're going to carve out a different impression on this other side. So let's start in kickstand. Stand up nice and tall and breathe and start to feel your ankle twitch. Your leg might grab different muscles in your lower body. We're going to catch you. I always say that, like, balance, we can refer to balance as a noun in a way, a balance, but really, like, if you think about the action of balancing, like as soon as you kind of catch your balance, there's going to be something else that happens where you're going to have to catch yourself again in another little area. So it's really the verb of balance here is what you're going to feel. And this is the strengthener as well. And then lift your knee and interlace your fingers underneath the joint. Stay here and breathe. And when you make a move, just be sure that you're kind of in a steady position. And then we'll start to roll and then pause and with the pinky toe up toward the outside. And then roll, pinky toe up. Roll, pinky toe up. Roll, pinky toe up. Now you might even feel this here, right under the knee joint. And this is how, like, a strong ankle can support your knee joint. You feel that connection of this happening and this muscle engagement as well. So you can tell if you're kind of weaker in this muscle here, you could use a little extra of this to create more sustainability in your knees, support for your knee joints and your ankle joints at the same time. One more roll and a little ankle. And then step down, just take a little walk. Excellent. All right, let's put that over to the side and we're going to do another ankle strengthening exercise. So grab your fascia ball. And you'll kind of notice as you look down, you can see this little indentation in your heels. Right here in the heels. So what you're going to do with the ball is place the ball right in that indentation and turn all 10 of your toes forward. Now you may want to hold on to something. So if you have a wall or a piece of furniture, that'll do just fine. You can put a hand against something that's really solid. And what I want you to do is lift up onto the toes really slowly. That's right. And then keep the ball in place. Keep the ball in place. And then we're going to lower down really slowly. And you might feel yourself go boom, 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 going down. And that's okay to feel that. I need to kind of maneuver the ball a little bit because it slipped a tiny bit. And then we're going to do that again. Slowly, gently lift up. Keep the ball in place. Keep your balance and put your arms out to help you establish your balance a little bit better. My balance is not the best today. And every day is a different day with that. Slowly, gently lower down and breathe. How'd you do on that round? We're going to do one more round. Arms out, however you choose to put your arms. I kind of like them out anyway. Gives me something to do. And then slowly, gently lower, 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 lower. Excellent. Good, good. All right. Let's pull the fascia ball out from between the heels. So, you didn't maybe think of that being a thing for the fascia ball use, but another good way to use it. So we've got all 10 toes pointed forward. And again, we're going to lift those pinky toes and then pick all the toes up, all 10 of them. Now you can also use your fingers to create this like piano-like movement in your fingers because your toes and the muscles in your lower legs love to kind of copy what's going on in the hands. So if you put your big toes, stretch them forward and your thumbs at the same time and leave the rest of the fingers and toes up. You don't have to do the fingers with this, just do the toes. And then stretch your pinky toes out to the sides and touch your pinky toes onto the floor. See if you can keep the middle three up. Look down, see if that's what's going on there. And then look forward, hold. And even if your toes are not doing exactly what you're asking them to, they will start to. And then relax all 10 toes to the floor. All right, let's do that again. Starting with picking up all 10. Stretch your big toes forward and gently place them on the floor. Pinky toes, up, out. Touch the pinky toes. See if the middle three will stay lifted. And if not, just make a move in that direction because you're probably feeling some things in your lower leg happening. And that's really where the work is. It's really in these muscles that you're having start to work independently of each other. And then slowly, relax the feet. All right, one more time. Picking up all 10. Stretching the big toes forward. Stretching the pinky toes out, touching them onto the floor. And then the middle three stay up if possible. And then relax all the toes to the ground. Good. All right. Shake anything out that wants to be shaken out and take a little walk around. And then just kind of feel your stability in the ankles. Feel your steadiness in the ankles. And even walking backwards can be like something that, especially to kind of slow down and kind of roll through the foot, can be a different kind of ankle strengthener. It can help with the Achilles tendon as well. Just kind of feeling yourself go toe, middle of the foot, heel, toe, middle of the foot, heel, and just taking your time a little bit there. All right. Just to see what that feels like after all of that toe work. Step on a block. Give yourself a little moment to kind of feel the steadiness and the strength work there. Now you can also create all kinds of different movement patterns with your ankle work so that your muscles start to coordinate with all these lower leg muscles, like these types of things. Excellent. And then just see what your ankle stability feels like here. And how your hip and upper leg muscles start to coordinate with these lower leg muscles, bringing it back. Any kind of movement pattern that you wish you can challenge yourself with here. And I always like to coordinate like kind of real life with movement too, because I know we're not always going to get on the mat and spend, like 2 or 3 hours to go through the whole body. But even just waiting for, the tea kettle to boil could be, a place to kind of work some of these things. We don't always need to do a whole yoga practice or a dedicated practice for some of these things. So just start practicing them and keeping them in mind for while you're brushing your teeth, waiting for something in the kitchen for a couple of minutes. Gives you a good chance to practice some of these things. So let's get back to the wrists. We're going to have a seat on the floor now for this. And I want to talk about positions like plank, downward dog, and just kind of review what might be the best position for your hands. Now, most people, this is kind of a guide for most people. If you take your thumbs north, south, right along your spine, and the fingers, if they're relaxed, you would see the color of your mat from the side of your palm. If you put your hand down on your mat and your thumb is going about north-south, your fingers will fan out from there. Because if you look at your wrist is inconsistent. It has this bone that sticks out over here, and this bone doesn't quite stick out so much. So we need to do a little something for that adjustment. And so the complaint that I hear the most is in like a down dog or a plank, if we stay here for a long time, some people are like, well, it's not my shoulders, it's my wrists that really hurt. So when we start to let's actually come into a plank and just kind of see what that feels like. Pointing the thumbs north and south, fingers fanning out from there, and a relaxed palm, relaxed fingers. Very good. Now press down through your middle finger knuckles and kind of see how that changes how your wrists feel here. And take a breath. And then gently push yourself back to a downward dog. And you can walk your feet in. You're welcome to bend your knees. But notice how that feels in the wrist. And now we're going to do some wrist exercises that may have the wrist feel a little bit more steady. We're all used to having strength exercises for this through the hand or through the closed palm, what I'm trying to say, like the fist, right? And we're going to do some fist work too. But one of the things that's missing from a lot of the hand practices that I've seen is an open palm strength. So we also want to work an open palm as well. So let's have a seat. Okay. Get nice and settled. And we're going to take the hands up and open the fingers and close them and curl them out and curl them in, curl them out and curl them in. And then we're going to go as fast as we possibly can. Now, just like the ankle, so if you kind of think about the joints in the body, hips and shoulders are very similar, ball and socket joint. Same thing with the wrist. You don't have muscle in the wrist, but you do have muscle in the forearms. You don't have a lot of muscle in your hands either. So those forearms are controlling your fingers and they're getting tired. So shake it out and take a breath. But these muscles control the hand. And one test to see if you have nice, strong hands is to take your palm flat in front of you and touch your thumb to your back index finger knuckle, and then start to squeeze between this muscly part. This is the muscly part of the hand, kind of between the thumb and the first finger back here. And if you feel like it's squishy, you could use a little extra strength. If you feel like this feels like really tough and like you can't really press into it very well, then you have strong hand and wrist strength. That's what I'm trying to say. So we're going to come back into this exercise again, all the way in and all the way out. And wait till the forearms get tired and do a few more and then relax and shake it out again. All right, so that will help build some of this strength that controls through here. And then place your palms down on the floor with your fingers pointing towards your body. Now you may be able to straighten out your elbows and you may not. And either way is okay. Just do the what you can today. This opens up. This will open up. All right, flip your palms up toward the ceiling. Your fingers still face your body. And I usually like to kind of sway from side to side with this. Gives me a little extra. Open palm. And then face your fingers toward each other. Open palm. I remember the first time doing this, it didn't feel so nice. But you're about to feel nice, really good in a second. Now, fingers away from each other. That might mean you have to back up a little bit, less pressure. And then flip the palms back down to the floor. Ah, it feels nice. So this can open up a bit. Now from here, we're going to try to lift both of the thumbs off the floor. Now that might not want to happen. It might not actually happen, but when you make a move in that direction, you feel the muscles work. And then put your thumbs down and lift the index fingers, even if they don't lift. Make the move and then relax. And the middle finger and the ring finger and the pinky. Relax. All right, we're going to go through one more time. Thumbs. If they're not lifting today, eventually they will, I promise. They won't lift a lot, but they'll lift some. First finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky. Bend your elbows toward your body and slowly peel up, giving your hands a little stretch. Nice. All right, now we're going to do two kinds of push-ups. And the first, it's not like push-ups, but I'll call these like palm push-ups. So you want to get into a hands and knees position. The further back into your hips you are, the less pressure in your palms. The more forward you go, the more difficult it's going to be. We're just going to lift the palms and leave the fingers on the floor and slowly down. So you want to go to a position as far forward so that you're challenging yourself, but you can lift both palms at the same time. These are little palm up push-ups. You're strengthening the muscles in your forearm and wrists. And I remember being like in my mid 30s when I started to feel like I was getting weaker in the wrists and hands a little bit. And so I started doing some of this work to strengthen it. It's really worth your while to do this. All right, one more, and then we're going to do tiger claw push-ups. Okay, this is a tiger claw, right? So we're going to go up to the fingertips. So again, you find your position, you go up to your fingertips, or you can lift both hands into a dome tiger claw and relax And again, you're kind of reaching your chest a little forward to give your fingers a challenge. And this also strengthens the bones in the fingers. We're going to do a couple more. And last one. Ooh, excellent. Gently come out. All right, now for something that's going to be so delightful. Have a seat on the floor. We're going to do two more things. So we've got a block. We're going to do what I call the crab claw. This is kind of a closed palm situation, but I want you to take your attention to the heel of the palm. And it's almost like you're going to squeeze, not your thumb and pinky, but you're squeezing the pinky side and the thumb side of the palm together. And then if you kind of bend your wrist and put your back of the hand on the block and start to kind of pinch those sides of the hand, back of the hand together. The position for the elbow that you want is back and down, and keep pinch, pinch. So this is a little decompression for your wrist. Don't forget to breathe and relax. And then the other side. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze. Last one, squeeze. All right, now here's something good and yummy. So last little bit, we're going to take the fascia ball, palm up. And this works really well against the block. Do you have some kind of something that you can sit in any position you wish? But if you have your palm up and you just kind of roll through those muscles, that feels really nice. So I highly encourage you to go through this a couple of times so that you remember some of these. And I feel like all these can kind of be done a little bit at a time or here and there in your practice, here and there throughout your day. But again, your ankles and wrists support you in all kinds of activities, from probably working at your computer to going for a walk. So they deserve the attention and the love and the care that you give to them. Other side, if you haven't already. And take a good couple of breaths. And if you're really enjoying this, go for it and keep on rolling with the balls. I know our next session will be a lot of ball work. So it'll be yummy and juicy and all of those things. So just to close our session today, I thank you all for being here and for everybody who's repeating this. Great being with you, practicing with you. Just take a nice deep breath, big inhale above the head, and namaste to everyone. Great being with you, and just really enjoy the rest of your day. So see you soon.